Hillary Clinton says she's, quote, very confident about her campaign, but her latest poll shows her losing a third of her support since July, with the biggest loss coming from women. This is Special Report. Good evening. Welcome to Washington. I'm Brett Baer. Hillary Clinton tries to downplay her falling poll numbers. Joe Biden meets with a big-time donor. Bernie Sanders takes his momentum to conservative Liberty University. While on the GOP side, it's all about Donald Trump and Ben Carson leading the pack. We have Fox team coverage tonight. Senior political analyst Brit Hume with why outsiders appear to be all the rage here and overseas. Correspondent Doug McKelway with the latest GOP moves and a new ad that's getting attention. But we begin with senior political correspondent Mike Emanuel and a look at what Clinton's loss of support may mean for others, including Biden. Good evening, Mike.
Brett, good evening. Some stunning new poll numbers for Hillary Clinton as Vice President Joe Biden continues private meetings and Bernie Sanders seeks support outside the traditional Democratic base.
With his popularity surging in the polls, Vermont Senator Bernie Sanders addressed the predominantly conservative Christian student body at Liberty University in Virginia, speaking about justice, morality, and progress in this country.
The truth is that a nation which in many ways was created, and I'm sorry to have to say this, from way back on racist principles, that's a fact. We have come a long way as a nation.
Sanders received a polite reception, and the university says it made room for some of his supporters. After speaking about protecting children, Sanders was asked about abortion, and the question received a standing ovation.
A majority of Christians would agree with you, but would also go further and say that children in the womb need our protection even more.
This is an area where we disagree. I do understand and I do believe that it is improper for the United States government or state government to tell every woman in this country the very painful and difficult choice that she has to make on that issue.
Meanwhile, a new poll from the Washington Post and ABC News asks, do you think Hillary Clinton has honestly disclosed the facts about her use of personal email while Secretary of State, or has tried to cover up the facts? 59% say she tried to cover up the facts. The poll also reveals Clinton leading Sanders by 18 points and leading Vice President Joe Biden, who is not a candidate, by 21 points. However, the poll also shows Clinton has lost one-third of her support for the Democratic nomination since July. New polling from CBS and YouGov.com reveals Sanders leading Clinton by 10 points in Iowa and by 22 points in New Hampshire, the first time he's gone above 50% support. Today in Iowa, Clinton downplayed the polls.
I feel very confident about where we are in the campaign and very committed to doing everything I can to make my case as effectively as possible.
Clinton was asked by someone attending her event about Sanders.
He's doing a great job, and the others who are out there are working hard, and you know, we're gonna have some debates, and we'll be able to talk about where we agree and where we disagree.
Fox News has confirmed Vice President Joe Biden met privately with Democratic mega bundler Robert Wolf when he was in New York last week. Wolf raised big bucks for President Obama in both of his campaigns and is publicly supporting Clinton. Brett?
Mike, thank you. On the Republican side, it is the summer and now early fall for the outsider. Two political newcomers are ahead double digits in the new poll. Correspondent Doug McKelway has a breakdown of the GOP field 2 days before the next debate.
The Trump juggernaut rolls into the second week of September with a Washington Post ABC News poll showing him at 33%, followed by another surging non-politician, Ben Carson, at 20%. The rest of the GOP field bunched up far behind. It defies almost all traditional interpretations and criticisms.
Rick Perry, Lindsey Graham, Jeb Bush, all tank right after they attack him. He's the hottest thing of the summer because he's interesting, and I think the conventional rules of politics don't apply to him.
Among his attackers, former Texas Governor Rick Perry has dropped out. South Carolina Senator Lindsey Graham measures an asterisk. Louisiana Governor Bobby Jindal does little better at 1%. Jindal doubled down on his Trump attacks today.
He has declared bankruptcy more often than any major corporation in America in the last 30 years. Think about that.
Trump didn't bother to respond to that slap, perhaps letting his Friday tweet to Jindal's jab about Trump's hair speak for him. Quote, "Oh wow, lightweight Governor Bobby Jindal, who is registered at less than 1% of the polls, just mocked my hair. So original." Other rivals appear to have learned some hard lessons from attacking Trump. Ben Carson apologized Friday for, quote, taking the bait and questioning Trump's faith.
No, I think I did slip, and that's why I apologized.
Ohio Governor John Kasich is avoiding any Trump comments at all.
So if I'm talking about Donald Trump or somebody else or their strategy, I'm not talking about what I want to talk about.
It's paying off. Kasich has risen to third place, 10.8% in the Real Clear Politics average in New Hampshire, less than a point behind Carson. Meanwhile, Jeb Bush and Carly Fiorina appear to be harnessing Trump's criticism. The now svelte Bush, having dropped almost 50 pounds, promises to be higher energy in Wednesday's debate, while Fiorina is using Trump's face comment in a provocative new ad that courts female voters.
Look at this face. And look at all of your faces.
At 7 Eastern tonight, Trump speaks at a rally in Dallas's American Airlines Center. That arena holds 20,000 people. All of the complimentary tickets have been spoken for. Brett?
All right, Doug, thank you. So how do we account for this phenomenon behind the non-politician candidates and their success? Fox News senior political analyst Brit Hume is here to explain. Hi, Brit.
Hi, Brett. Not much can be said with certainty about the course of events this election cycle, but one thing can. The rise of Donald Trump, the rise of Bernie Sanders, and the rise of far leftist Jeremy Corbyn in the British Labour Party were foreseen by almost no one. So when those of us who comment on politics are asked what's going to happen next, the correct answer is we don't know. We do know that 11 of the Republican candidates will take part in the televised debate 2 days from now, but we have no idea how that will play out, nor any idea of the most effective way for the candidates to deal with the still surging Trump. He seems to defy all laws of political gravity. He says outrageous things about other politicians, sneering at John McCain's war record and Carly Fiorina's face, for example. Then he tries to claim he did not say what he plainly did. Such antics do him no harm and may even help him. Meanwhile, Democrat Sanders and to a much greater extent British Labour's Corbyn run on socialist policies that went out of vogue or down to defeat decades ago. Voters felt they didn't work. But speaking of voters, it's perhaps worth noting that in this country the first votes won't be cast for months and the election is more than a year away. Maybe by that time the political laws of gravity will be back in force. For the record, however, that is not a prediction. Brett?
You know, a lot of this is anti-establishment, and as you look at the two parties, Republican and Democrats, the establishment of both parties, which party is more worried from the establishment point of view? The Republicans about Donald Trump or the Democratic establishment about Bernie Sanders?
I would think that at both party headquarters they're wearing their clothes out from the inside. First of all, Hillary Clinton's still leading the surging Sanders. But she's in all kinds of trouble. Yeah, nationally. But she's in all kinds of trouble, as the polling shows, and is trailing in the early states. Sanders, I'm sure most of the Democrats believe, is unelectable. Meanwhile, on the Republican side, the Republicans are all convinced Donald Trump is not electable and don't want him nominated. Ben Carson, who's doing next best and very well lately, is equally a novice in politics and probably, I think, in the eyes of most Republicans, also not electable. So they're sweating it. And you know, they don't know any better than the rest of us do how this is going to play out.
And the grassroots says the establishment is wrong.
Gotta go.
All right, Britt, thank you. A down day on Wall Street today. The Dow down 62 points. The S&P 500 lost 8. The Nasdaq off nearly 17. Up next, countries crack down on the flow of migrants across their borders. First, here's what some of our Fox affiliates around the country are covering tonight. Fox 41 in Louisville, Kentucky, where police shot and killed a man suspected of killing Kentucky State Trooper Joseph Ponder, who pulled him over Sunday night. The suspect, Joseph Johnson Shank, was located just off Interstate 24 this morning and shot after officers say he refused to drop his weapon. Fox 40 in Jackson, Mississippi, and the search is on for the suspect who killed a history professor, Ethan Schmidt, at Delta State University in Cleveland, Mississippi. Police believe another professor, Shannon Lamb, shot and killed Schmidt at his campus office. Lamb is also suspected in another murder in southern Mississippi. The campus remains on lockdown tonight. And this is a live look at Phoenix from Fox 10, our affiliate out there in Arizona. The big story there tonight, the arrest of 3 teenagers who police say are not linked to a recent string of freeway shootings, just copycats. Sheriff's deputies say the 3 were arrested after admitting to flinging rocks at cars. The search continues for the suspect of 11 confirmed shootings along the busy Interstate 10 in Phoenix. That's tonight's live look outside the Beltway from Special Report. We'll be right back.